This week, we've got a lot of activity on Nvidia, the global technology giant's exploits, and we're going to go over some of these crunchy headlines in today's video. Nvidia has unveiled a bespoke GeForce RTX 4080 Cyberpunk 2077 edition graphics card, and we'll go over the specs and what makes this announcement so special. We've also got some news on the unreleased Nvidia budget GPU RTX 3056GB, which is set to launch in February. It's rumored to rival AMD and Intel, and it's already being listed on overseas websites. We've also had some insight into its unique specs. And then there's some more talk on the Nvidia RTX 40 Series Enhanced Edition cards, set for release at Consumer Electronics Show in a few days. And of course, some financial data to go over in today's video with Nvidia stock updates. And as a hint, it keeps going up. So don't go anywhere. Hello and thanks for tuning in. Before we go any further, please take a moment to support us by liking this video. Subscribe and activate the bell notification feature so you'd always know when we put out new videos. And remember, sharing is caring. Okay, let's get back to it. Let's start off from the bespoke GeForce RTX 4080 Cyberpunk 2077 Edition graphics card. This limited edition, inspired by the Arasaka organization, a key corporation in the Cyberpunk 2077 game, deviates from the standard yellow and black color scheme associated with earlier Cyberpunk 2077 themed graphics cards. Instead, it features a sleek black and chrome design, giving this brand of specialist gaming devices a new visual dimension. This isn't the first time Nvidia has expressed a fondness for the Cyberpunk 2077 theme. The GeForce RTX 2080 Ti and GeForce RTX 3080 Cyberpunk 2077 editions have already been released, demonstrating the appeal of the card's concept among gamers and Nvidia's dedication to creating immersive gaming experiences. The recently unveiled GeForce RTX 4080 Cyberpunk 2077 edition continues this history, solidifying Nvidia's reputation for producing themed graphics cards that are popular among gamers. The GeForce RTX 4080 Cyberpunk 2077 edition, on the other hand, is not for sale. Instead, Nvidia has decided to only deliver this bespoke graphics card through a giveaway in the Chinese market. The competition, which ran from mid-December until January 2nd, required contestants to demonstrate their creative abilities by creating Cyberpunk 2077 themed music and posting it on social media. Winners of the tournament will receive not only the coveted graphics card, but also unique clothes, mouse pads, and other prizes. All information about this offer was made available on Bilibili, a popular video sharing network in China. The RTX 4080 Cyberpunk 2077 edition is projected to deliver improved gaming performance in line with Nvidia's ongoing commitment to improving user experience. The company has also hinted at the arrival of the GeForce RTX 4080 Super, which will contain 16 GB of GDDR6X memory running at 23 gigabits per second. This move indicates that Nvidia is devoted not only to producing themed graphics cards, but also to pushing the boundaries of gaming technology. Okay, let's move on to some other related news, and we're talking about the RTX 40 series cards. Nvidia is preparing for a powerful presentation at the forthcoming CES convention in Las Vegas, fueling speculation about the release of new RTX Super GPUs. As the event approaches, enthusiasm grows as regulatory filings from Nvidia's partners reveal details about the next GPUs. The RTX 4080 Super is likely to receive a minor upgrade, whilst the RTX 4070 series is expected to have more significant enhancements. However, pricing is unknown until the official release. Nvidia aims to present its latest advances on January 8th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, focusing on AI innovations, a theme that appears to be popular for this year's CES. Aside from AI, the business plans to introduce 3 new Super GPUs: the RTX 4080 Super, RTX 4070 Ti Super, and RTX 4070 Super. Regulatory papers from MSI, as reported by VideoCards, and Gigabit teasers provide insight on Nvidia's plans, indicating significant advancements for the RTX 4070 series cards. Nvidia is developing a total of 12 new GPUs for release, with 4 variations of each SKU reaching the market. The most substantial update appears to be to the RTX 4070 Ti Super, which has been upgraded from a 12GB card with a 192-bit memory bus to a 16GB model with a 256-bit memory bus. Furthermore, the number of CUDA cores is predicted to increase from 7680 to 8448, but power consumption remains constant at 285 watts, implying no change in GDDR6X memory speed. The pricing strategy for the Super version is expected to be competitive, especially versus AMD's 20GB Radeon 7900 XT, which is priced around $779. Meanwhile, the RTX 4070 Super will see a significant increase in CUDA cores, jumping from 5,888 to 7,168, a 21% increase. All of this while keeping the same 192-bit memory bus and 12 gigabytes of GDDR6X memory. Originally priced at $599, this model competes with AMD's RX 7800 XT, which is priced at $549, raising questions about Nvidia's pricing response. The RTX 4080 Super appears to be the least substantial change, retaining the AD103 die and the 16 gigabytes memory configuration of its predecessor. It is expected to gain a little boost in CUDA cores from 9,728 to 10,240, representing a 5% increase. Given the little adjustments, it's conceivable that the price will remain unchanged at $1,199, unless Nvidia decides to make it more tempting by lowering it to $999. As the tech community waits for the formal announcement, these rumors and predictions set the stage for a possibly game-changing sequence of GPU releases from Nvidia. The full specifications, performance enhancements, and price strategies will be revealed at Nvidia's CES presentation, when the company will disclose how it aims to change the future of gaming and AI technologies with its new Super GPU portfolio. But let's talk about some product that has already been launched. For that, let's go back in time to a few days ago, where Nvidia formally introduced the GeForce RTX 4090D graphics card, specifically engineered for the Chinese market. This release is in reaction to the United States Federal Trade Commission's October limitation restricting the shipment of RTX 4090 and other AI GPUs to China. The RTX 4090D is designed to comply with US FTC export restrictions, having lower AI inference capabilities than the worldwide RTX 4090 model. Nvidia has implemented a number of technical measures to assure compliance. These include firmware and driver performance limits, a unique ASIC code, and a different device ID that prevents BIOS alterations from the regular RTX 4090. Furthermore, the RTX 4090D employs a variation of the 5nm AD102 GPU with a different core design. Technically, the original RTX 4090's AD102 silicon contains 72 TPCs, or 144 SM, allowing 64 TPCs, or 128 SM. The RTX 4090D, on the other hand, employs 57 TPCs, or 114 SM, resulting in a decrease in CUDA cores, tensor cores, and RT cores. The RTX 4090D has 14,592 CUDA cores, 456 tensor cores, and 114 RT cores, compared to the normal RTX 4090's 16,384 CUDA cores, 512 tensor cores, and 128 RT cores. Both versions have comparable clock rates, with a maximum boost frequency of 2.52 GHz, but the RTX 4090D has a lower total graphics power, TGQ of 25 watts. The memory subsystem is the same in both versions. Okay, moving forward. We've also had some more insight into the unreleased Nvidia budget GPU, the RTX 3056GB specifications shared through retailer listing, and it's quite interesting. For quite some time, a GeForce RTX 3056GB has been in the works. Although the last generation Ampere graphics card is unlikely to compete for a spot on the list of top graphics cards, if priced appropriately, the GeForce RTX 3056GB could be a good option for budget gamers. While Nvidia's most recent graphics cards are built on the Ada Lovelace architecture, the chipmaker has some Ampere products in the works. Instead of an upgrade, the upcoming GeForce RTX 3056GB is a step back from the original GeForce RTX 3050, which has 8GB of onboard memory. On the website of Russian retailer Citilink, via video cards, 3 custom GeForce RTX 3056GB units from Nvidia partner Palette are advertised. The GeForce RTX 3050 Storm X OC 6GB, GeForce RTX 3050 Storm X 6GB, and GeForce RTX 3050 Calm X 6GB are among the models on the list. Although the specifications are from a shop, they should be treated with caution because they could be placeholders. The box render for the GeForce RTX 3050 Storm X OC 6GB, for example, still matches to the 8GB model, but the specifications and product code differ. The GeForce RTX 3056GB keeps the same 2,560 CUDA cores as the GeForce RTX 3058GB, according to the merchant. The silicon is a mystery. The GA106 die was used in the initial GeForce RTX 3050. although Nvidia eventually switched to the GA107 die. The GeForce RTX 3056GB will be available on either the GA106 or GA107 chip. However, we prefer the latter. In any case, the CUDA core count has not changed. The GeForce RTX 3050 Storm X OC 6GB has a base frequency of 1402 MHz and a boost clock of 1777 MHz. While the base clock is substantially lower, it looks that the boost clock is the same as the GeForce RTX 3058 GB. As a result, the FP32 performance should be the same 9.1 teraflops for both models. We don't foresee any design changes with the GeForce RTX 3056 GB, which means it should still use the original PCIe 4.0x8 interface. The GeForce RTX 3056 GB contains 6 GB of GDDR6 memory clocked at 14 gigabits per second, as the model name suggests. These are the memory chips used in the GeForce RTX 3058 GB. However, there is a major twist. Much to our dismay, the GeForce RTX 3056 GB has a weakened memory interface with a 96-bit bus instead of the 128-bit bus seen on the GeForce RTX 3058 GB. The GeForce RTX 3056 GB memory bandwidth is limited to 168 GB per second due to the narrower memory interface, which is 56 GB per second less than the GeForce RTX 3058 GB. The graphics card suffers a significant setback because it loses 2 GB of memory and 25% of its bandwidth. Due to the removal of a few memory chips, the GeForce RTX 3056 GB appears to have a lower TDP. Citylink reported the GeForce RTX 3050 Storm X OC 6GB as having a TDP of 115 watts, which is 15 watts less than the normal GeForce RTX 3040 8GB. It's not a big deal because it's only a 12% drop. Nonetheless, speculation suggests that the GeForce RTX 3056 GB thermal design is in the 70 to 80 watts range. If the reports are correct, the GeForce RTX 3056 GB will not require any external power connectors. The GeForce RTX 3058 GB has an MSRP of $249. However, bespoke variants start at $219.99. Citylink sells the GeForce RTX 3050 Storm X OC 6GB for $321.79, which is comparable to some of the retailer's other bespoke 8GB products. Nonetheless, the official MSRP for the GeForce RTX 3056 GB remains unknown. The Ampere-based graphics card is expected to be released in February, so maybe more retailer listings will emerge to provide us with a better notion of pricing. Now let's move on to some crunchy stats for the year 2023 and explore market cap stats for chip manufacturers and how Nvidia performed. The worldwide semiconductor industry has seen weak demand in the downstream electronics sector during the last year. Artificial intelligence and geopolitical uncertainty have driven investments and become growth drivers. Despite this, Nvidia overtakes Intel as the world's top chipmaker by the end of 2023, thanks to enormous demand for AI hardware and its industry-leading solutions. Difficult years for both Samsung and Intel have allowed the AI-focused company to soar to the top. Nvidia has had an outstanding year, surpassing $1 trillion in market capitalization from March to become the most valuable chipmaker in the world. Following that, the business reported record revenues of $13.5 billion in Q2, selling over $10 billion in data center hardware, vaulting it past Qualcomm as the highest-earning fabless chip designer. Then in Q3, the Santa Clara, California-based company did it again, with revenues of $18.12 billion. Nvidia has been aiming to become a one-stop shop for AI hardware and software solutions for over a decade. Nvidia effectively controls the AI ecosystem as the designer of the most AI chips in the world. It's currently profiting on the global boom in AI services based on large language models, LLM, as a result of careful preparation and years of work. Demand for Nvidia's high-tech GPUs, which power AI workhorses like ChatGPT, has skyrocketed in the last year. The successful introduction and deployment of its cutting-edge Hopper and Ampere architecture HGX systems has also propelled the company's expansion. Meanwhile, by reporting less than stellar results this year, Samsung and Intel have helped Nvidia become the industry's market value and profits darling. The NAND flash issue cost Samsung $2.86 billion in profit as the company began 2023 with 2 straight quarters of 95% year-over-year profit declines until ultimately reaching a plateau in Q3. At the same time, Intel suffered its greatest loss in company history $2.8 billion in the first quarter of 2023. Intel's two largest segments, client computing and data center, fell roughly 40%. In response, the chipmaker has reduced executive and management pay and announced the layoff of over 500 workers throughout its Northern California plants. Looking ahead, fabless chip design organizations such as Nvidia, Qualcomm, Broadcom, and AMD may expect solid growth to continue through 2030, owing to widespread use of AI and machine learning, as well as the growing desire for sustainable and innovative products. The expected CAGR for the fabless IC market from 2023 to the end of the decade is 5.9%. The Supercomputing 23 Conference, SC23 in Denver, is a strong sign of what Nvidia has in store for the future. With over 14,000 attendees and vendors, the only true subject of conversation during the conference was AI, and Nvidia's presence was nearly impossible to miss. Despite the fact that Nvidia did not use its usual large green booth during the conference, practically every system manufacturer showcased an H100-based server. At SC23, the company also announced Jupiter, Europe's first exaflop-scale supercomputer, which employs over 24,000 Nvidia Grace Hopper 200 CPUs networked with Nvidia's Quantum 2 InfiniBand networking infrastructure. Finally, Nvidia has stated that China's latest round of restrictions on chipmakers will have no meaningful impact on its business, owing in part to China's front-loading of GPU orders earlier this year. Significant sales growth in other developed areas will most likely balance any revenue loss from China. So as 2023 comes to a close and Nvidia smiles from the summit, there is only more success ahead. While the artificial intelligence momentum will undoubtedly fade at some point, Nvidia has no plans to back down anytime soon. Still on the subject of finances, consider Nvidia shares, which skyrocketed in 2023 because of the company's GPUs being essential to the AI revolution. The company's GPUs, particularly the H100, have fueled a revolution in artificial intelligence, enabling considerably more complicated computational processes like deep learning. Nvidia is gaining traction. The stock has risen 249.5% in the last year, owing to increased demand for its GPUs. Over the last 18 months, the company has consistently outperformed earnings. Momentum is an important aspect of any investment strategy that is frequently disregarded. In fact, it can be one of the best predictors of future achievement, though not always. At the time of making this video, Nvidia shares were trading at $494. The average share price objective, on the other hand, is $658, which is 33.3% higher than the present price. This is usually a favorable indicator because it implies that analysts, particularly those with a lot of sway over market narratives, are bullish on the stock. When it comes to valuation tools, I feel the price per earnings to growth ratio, PEG, is the most appropriate when evaluating Nvidia. This is a growth-adjusted earnings statistic created by dividing the forward price to earnings ratio by the predicted annualized earnings growth rate over the next 3 to 5 years. A ratio of 1 indicates that a company is trading at its fair value. Anything less may indicate that the stock is undervalued. Nvidia has a PEGI ratio of 0.95, indicating that it is undervalued based on earnings projections over the next 5 years. While the price-to-earnings ratio makes it appear pricey, an annualized EPS growth rate of 42.3% over 5 years indicates the PEG ratio is appealing. Previously, Nvidia's GPUs were largely used for gaming. However, the company's data center unit saw $14.51 billion in sales in the last quarter, up 279% over the previous quarter. Of course, other firms are vying for its throne, and there's no guarantee the company will remain dominant for long. According to the most recent long-term projection, the price of Nvidia will reach $500 by the middle of 2024 and then $600 by the end of 2025. Nvidia's price will rise to $900 in 2026, $1,100 in 2027, $1,200 in 2028, $1,500 in 2030, $1,700 in 2031, $1,800 in 2033, and $2,000 in 2035. Nvidia's price began in 2024 at $495.22. Nvidia is currently trading at $495.22, a 0% decline from the beginning of the year. The expected Nvidia price at the end of 2024 is $567, with a plus 14% year-on-year change. The increase from today to the end of the year is 14%. We anticipate $527 per Nvidia by the middle of 2024. In the first half of 2025, Nvidia pricing will rise to $585. In the second half, the price will rise by $99 to $684, a 38% increase over the present price. For 2026 to 2030, over the next 5 years, the price of Nvidia would rise from $684 to $1,638, a 139% increase. Nvidia will begin 2026 at $684, then rise to $807 in the first 6 months of the year and end at $928. That is an increase of 87% from today. Nvidia's chips remain by far the best option for quickly processing the massive amounts of data required to train and operate generative AI language models, and this implies that other businesses will have a long time to catch up. Nvidia launched the HGX H200, a new top-of-the-line CPU for AI development, in November. The new GPU provides 1.4 times higher memory bandwidth and 1.8 times more memory capacity to the highly popular H100. And that concludes today's video. Do let us know what you think about today's discussion in the comments section below. And you can support this channel by liking this video. Subscribe and activate the bell notification feature so you'd always know when we put out new content. And remember, sharing is caring. Take care and see you in the next video.